Here's something nobody tells you about conversation. You don't have to prove anything. I know that sounds too simple, but stay with me. Most advice about socializing tells you to be more interesting, funnier, more confident. But what if the whole frame is wrong? What if you're not a product that needs better marketing? Think about how a street vendor talks. They're loud. They're calling out to you. They need you to stop, to buy, to validate that their thing is worth something. That's exhausting to do, and it's exhausting to be around. Now think about a museum. The exhibits just exist. There's a small label that says what it is. You can walk up close if you want. You can walk away if you want. The painting doesn't chase you down the hallway asking if you liked it. That's the energy we're going for. Here is the one rule that changes everything. Only say what happened, not whether it was good or bad. Let me show you the difference. Someone asks what you do. Wrong way. Oh, I'm just a graphic designer. Nothing special, really. I mostly do boring corporate stuff. Right way. I'm a graphic designer. I work with tech companies. See what happened? You removed the review. You're not Yelp rating your own life. You're just stating what exists. When you say I'm just or nothing special, you're doing the other person's judging for them. You're telling them how to feel about you before they've even decided. Stop doing their homework. This is where socially anxious people mess up the most. We think silence means we failed, so we keep talking, explaining, justifying, filling every gap. But silence is actually information. When you say something and then stop, you get to see whether the other person leans in, asks a follow-up, or changes the subject. That tells you everything. And it's not about whether you're interesting enough. It's about whether there's actual curiosity there or just polite small talk. For example, you mention you're learning piano and then you stop. If they say, oh, cool, and look away, that's data. They're not that interested, and that's fine. If they say, how long have you been playing? Then you know they actually want to know more. You give them one more sentence and then you stop again. You're not performing. You're testing for real interest. You know what doesn't mean a conversation went well? Talking a lot, making them laugh, getting validation. You know what does? They stayed, they asked a second question, they referenced something you said earlier, they suggested meeting again. Those are the only metrics that matter. Everything else is just you trying to grade yourself on a test nobody's giving you. Here's what happens when the panic rises. You're talking and suddenly you feel it. I need them to like me. I need to prove I'm worth talking to. I need to be more interesting right now. When you feel that, stop talking. Literally stop. That feeling means you've left the museum and become the street vendor. You're about to start selling. Instead, say something neutral like, anyway, that's the general situation, and hand the conversation back. Or ask them something, not to be polite, but because you're genuinely stepping back. A lot of us think this advice would work if we were actually interesting, but we're pretty boring right now. Here's what you're missing. This approach doesn't require you to be fascinating. It requires you to stop treating yourself like damaged goods. Most people aren't particularly extraordinary at any given moment. Most people don't have thrilling jobs, fascinating hobbies, or incredible stories. And yet they still get invited to things. They still make friends. They still date. The difference isn't that they're secretly more interesting. It's that they don't spend the entire conversation apologizing for existing. When you say, I'm not very interesting, or sorry, I'm boring, you're not being humble. You're asking the other person to disagree with you, which is exhausting for them and humiliating for you when they don't. This isn't about becoming a social butterfly or being the life of the party. It's about protecting your baseline dignity in conversation. Success isn't walking away thinking, they loved me. Success is walking away thinking, I didn't betray myself, I didn't shrink, I didn't perform, I just existed, and that was enough. You're not waiting to become good enough to deserve basic respect. You're already a complete person. You just have to stop volunteering to be treated as less than that. Next time you're about to say something self-deprecating, ask yourself, am I about to do their judging for them? If the answer is yes, close your mouth. Let them form their own opinion. Maybe they'll think you're boring, maybe they won't, but at least it will be their actual thought, not the one you handed them. You don't need to wait until you're successful, impressive, or transformed. You just need to stop being a street vendor and start being a museum exhibit. You're already here. You already exist. The label is already written. Whether someone stops to look is their choice, not your failure. That's it. That's the whole thing.